Today is a very exciting day because we open our foyer for the first time to the public after an extensive and intensive 22 weeks of work. The new foyer space affords a real opportunity for our audiences to see the two theatres, the Globe Theatre as they walk in straight ahead of them, and to the left-hand side, the Wanamaker Playhouse. And what better way to fill our new foyer with music with Bill Barclay and our Globe musicians who are going to come round and do a foyer fanfare to really mark the moment that we are now open. And so now, having opened the foyer, we continue building the Sam Wanamaker Playhouse. And over the next 6 months, we're constructing the timber frame, the new 2 galleries and pit seating and the stage. So then we're finished in September to start painting the auditorium, and then finally opening in January 2014 with our first production.
In the 1960s, at Worcester College, Oxford, these drawings apparently, as the story goes, fell out of a book when somebody was taking a book off a shelf. It was an extraordinary find because they demonstrated a plan for a 17th century indoor theater. So when these drawings were discovered and presented to Sam Wanamaker after he had set up his project to reconstruct the Globe Theatre, scholars had suggested to him, why don't you also create an indoor theater of the kind Shakespeare worked in? The decision was taken while the Globe was being built that they would also build a shell of an indoor theater based on these drawings. And it's been there ever since. It's been sort of tucked away and hidden. And the architectural research group was set up really to then think about how we might begin constructing as authentic an indoor theater as we could. It's configured very much in the same way as late Elizabethan, early Jacobean playhouses would have been, with audience on all sides of the actors on the stage, sitting in the upper gallery, sitting on boxes on the side of the stage. So some of these wonderful details, like an indoor playhouse that's very intimate, lit by candles, the pit seating, all of those types of details are as close as possible to what we think Shakespeare would have experienced in his indoor space. We've used McCurdy & Co. because of their knowledge of historic timber. And he obviously built the Globe and did such an incredible job that people walk in and think it's actually the original Globe. Some people don't realize it's a reconstruction. And hopefully we'll have the same effect on audiences when they come into the Sam Wanamaker Playhouse for the first time. What excites me about the Sam Wanamaker Playhouse once it's built is what can be learned about 17th century indoor performance practice. What will we learn about the way in which actors and audience engage in such an intimate space? What will we learn about the way in which they use candles, handheld candle props and torches? What can we learn about gesture, about movement, about voice? What could be unlocked for us in these plays that was lost on past audiences? I think what we are hoping for is that in researching it to the detail that we have, that we've created the same visual and acoustic environment that Shakespeare would have known, would have worked in. And then by performing in that space, audience will experience the same conditions Shakespeare experienced. And that to me seems a very exciting reason to build an archetype of an indoor theater.